I like to say, like, I almost died twice. Once physically, once could have been due to mentally. So it wasn't until about 20 years later now that I'm only talking about having an abortion. Because I was pregnant at 19, and when I hear these stories, I'm thinking, this is exactly what I was trying to avoid. I was scared. I can't even explain the type of fear. There was no one I could speak to. I never realized how much it impacted me until years later, because I too had kids later in life than most people. And I have 3 now, and when I remember struggling to get pregnant, and I automatically went to, I'm being punished. I took away a life, that was really heavy. It was really heavy on me. I blamed myself for a long time, and I'm like, this is why we're not getting pregnant. Fast forward, eventually I did have my first, and I think the most struggles came after my second and my third. I had a C-section, and it was, they say, like 99% or something. I don't know the actual stat, but it's a very low stat, 1 or 2 that have complications or something like that. So anyway, I went into it, and it was a couple weeks later that I basically was hemorrhaging at home. And so I was bleeding out while I was trying to feed this newborn. At this point, we were putting towels under me because I was bleeding out. And when I say how much you have to advocate for yourself, and then if you can't, having someone else, it's so important. So finally, I was able to get someone to call the ambulance, and was in the emergency for, I think, the entire night, like several hours, like 6-7 hours. They couldn't tell me what was wrong. When I finally got admitted, it was very, when you guys say abrupt, curt, that was what I was met with the nurses, except for one, and she was the only other colored nurse. And so she didn't come and help and like change me and roll me. I would have had bed sores. Like, she was just really attentive, and more not just like on a clinical level, right? So it was, the word that comes to mind is nurture. So much so that fast forward, I came back to give her a gift and to just let her know, because I saw she wasn't treated well by staff. I wanted her to know how much she had helped me and how much I appreciate what she's done. And it was just so genuine. And I remember, in comparison, I had some other nurses who would dig in my garbage to take out old booties to give me to wear again, because she didn't want to go get new ones. This is the kind of treatment that I had. Also, I also had a friend's mother who was a nurse who happened to be around at the time, and she would come in and she would ask, did they do this, Kristy? Did they do this? And I said, no. She would get fired up, and then she would go and make sure it got done. So again, she was advocating for me. If she wasn't there, who knows?